how do we get to the future? This is the way how we get into the fifth dimension of the future to make things happen. Okay, so, but the essential thing is to learn to love ourselves. As you can see, the Inca cross is one of those. It's right over here. But this is a process. This is a DNA process. These are codes. And when you tap into them, then the more you love yourself, the more you can go to the future and start creating amazing things. In this class, I have been doing a lot of work for you because I'm not expecting to know how to get into the future. But in the advanced classes, which is channel 1 and channel 2, we're going to spend more time preparing your body to go into each one of these codes so you can be able to go into fifth dimensions. I have some miracles happening with this process. And for that, I have a lot of gratitude. I mean, my life is, because of the background I come from, I have so many blocks and invincibilities created by my parents. And I didn't want that to be my kids' story. So I work with the light beings really hard to be able to be able to get these codes into teaching others. Right now, because it's still the beginning, things, it will take their time. Some of them will manifest right away, but once you have those, once you start creating your third dimensional atoms, rewriting them to fifth dimensional codes through this process, then you get stronger into what you want and manifesting what you want. Okay, so I don't expect you to have this figured out. I want you to understand that it's a process, it's a very ancient process, and the more we practice this, the more we can benefit from it. So with that said, as you can see, there are 11 codes here. Okay. And all of them get to be integrated when we go into the future. But we get to use only 4 of them. We don't have to go through each one of them. We just get to use 4 of them, which is the energy of the intention, which we already declared our 50, 25, 25. The 5 points of power, which is literally your energy. That's your blueprint. That's your signature, that wherever you go, people know you for those feelings. All these are feelings, right? And then we use the symbol of the future. And then we use the symbol of the two. This is like a door that as soon as you come in, your energy will balance into the cells that can get to that level of development. They balance into the fifth dimensional frequency. So you go into the future, and then you place your request in a beautiful white table. In the room where it is the white table, I call it the research and developer room. Now, this is very interesting. This is a place where you're being trained to repair yourselves to become a fifth dimensional being. But it's not necessarily yet the communities, like the cities, the communities that are in the fifth dimension. It takes a little while to get to that point. This is just the room where you're preparing your body to function in a way that you can have a language to communicate eventually. Literally a higher consciousness. But this is just the beginning of it. Okay? So in that room, you will have light beings assisting you. Sometimes your ancestors will be there. But the good thing about it is that you don't do the work. All what you do is you place the intention, your intentions on the table. All right? Now, we talk about, let me just explain again the reason why it's important to love yourself is because the only way how we can open up these gates or symbols, these protocols. Okay? So I practice a lot in learning how to love myself every day. So, and that's why the Inca cross is very important, because the Inca cross gives you some ideas of the feelings, how you can learn to love yourself. All right? So, did any of you have any questions so far? Or is this no question?
Well, I was just thinking as you were sharing about loving yourself, because I know you just did that class on self-love. And so this is, it's kind of coming together because I'm reading some books, and so I was just putting the blocks together as you were speaking. But so it was sharing in one of the books that it was talking about a lot of people who are clairvoyant and, you know, very gifted that way. It doesn't have anything to do with their integrity or who they are as a person. And a lot of times in religion or culturally, we think if somebody's really gifted, like they can see other sides, that they must be good. Like that's kind of how the stories of the prophets and all of this came.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a clair that's open. And I myself have seen people who are very gifted and can see other dimensions, but don't live in a way that's very high integrity. So this is kind of this here. And what I'm recognizing is in the realm of the fifth dimension, it is self-love. And even if you're clairvoyant and you see this, you are misinterpreting that in a certain way unless
Mm-hmm.
there's self-love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like somebody that I think is a wonderful person as a human being, but she has the ability to see all these. She always is like, there's demons over here and there's this, and then we've got to fix this portal. And part of it is her own fear.
Mm-hmm.
But if she was filtering that through self-love, the message would be clear.
Right.
That's all and so that's what I'm aware of, is that that's all I had. I was just thinking that through.
And thank you. That's a great contribution, because, and that's why we teach in the beginning, and we spend a lot of time saying, you know, what's the difference between being a victim and a survivor? Because the victims and survivor energy cannot make it there. So when you go through the portal, even when you're over here and you go into the fifth dimension, not every part of yourself is making it there. It's only the ones that are already trained to be in the fifth dimension. Now, those cells, the energy of those cells do not come back into this reality. They stay there and they reflect the energy and support you into helping you to process the rest of your body frequency into this. Now, people ask me why you're so committed to bring this message in these days. And it's because I have seen in the future, right? Just like a lot of people see this in the future. But I'm not coming from the space of fear, but I seen the climate change. It's going to be very drastic when it comes to the levels that are going to be coming in the future. But if we learn these techniques and how to connect to the fifth dimension, then we can really override or repair our body or adjust to different things. That is the benefit of this. The benefit of this is to be able to move forward in the changes that are coming in the world. So that's why I say there is, it's not going to be, and I know I respect for people who do, I don't have respect, I'm saying, I do respect people's choices for whatever they are and whatever they're doing, but this is not a process where medicine plants will work on. I mean, this process is not, because this is a process of the heart. This is a process of your feeling. This is a process where you're getting to know yourself. This is a process of bringing together the conscious level with the subconscious level. We have lost the ability to hear what our subconscious level is saying to us. We only can hear the conscious level. So how do we balance those, the conscious level and subconscious level, to be able to get into new realities where we can create and we can bring technology, we can help others. So it's beautiful, it's very ancient, and is well needed in these days. But again, the secret is to learn to love yourself and balance yourself in love. All right? Any other question? Okay, so let me go to my live being. So when I teach these classes, as you can see, it's not what I want to teach, but it's what they want me to teach. So there's this one thing that I forgot to mention, Katie, is that this is not the only way how to get into the fifth dimension. I'm sure there's other people that are having new techniques in how to get there. And that's okay. We can learn as long as we know other techniques, as long as we know that we're following our heart, we're following our intuition. All right. So let's go to the drink some water, and we're going to go into the fifth dimension now. All right. So this is the way how it works. You place you do your distribution 50, 25, 25. Then you envision yourself. And this is the thing that you say. This is the way how you're going to open the portal, the first portal, and each one of them after that. You get to think in your brain, right? Because we need to merge the conscious level and the subconscious level. So you get to think in your mind. You place your intention of that you want to love yourself. You create the first thought in your mind that you want to love yourself. And then you feel the energy in your heart of loving yourself. And when you go into the process, I want you to envision that you go into the dream state, a place where you have your feelings like when you're sleeping, it's just state of sleeping, of dream state. But you're not dreaming about anything. It's just a space. And that you're going to choose how many years in the future you want to know. Years of circular time, there's no years of linear time. So I can say I want to go 20,000 years in the future. All right. And I will say, okay. So I envision that. And I can still feel my heart because that's what's going to help take it together. And then I go into envision these ones being portals, intention like a door that you go
Thanks,
through.
sweetheart.
The intention, 5 points of power, you envision yourself going through like these gates, right? And then you go into the energy of the future, and then you go through the symbol of the fifth dimension, and then you're going to envision a room there according to whatever you choose. Let's say you choose 10,000 years or 50,000 years, then you just trust that you're that far away in the future. And in the room, you're going to find a table, and the table is white. And then you're going to place there your distribution of the intentions that you requested, and your distribution of 50, 25, 25, right? You are important, very important. In order to make this work, you're very important. So that's why you have 50 points. And then you can just travel where you need to go. So once you get there and you place your intention, there will be light beings, light workers, ancestors that are going to do the work for you. Because they're going to use the technology from the future. So you just feel your heart and you receive the blessings in your heart. And you just feel the energy of loving yourself. Just allow yourself to feel. And some people that are gifted will see the movement of the symbols. Some of them will see light beings. Some of them will see changes on the table, like vortex of lights. And it's possible. The more you learn to love yourself, the more you do your distribution, the more you change in the frequency of yourself into the fifth dimension, you become intuitive. You become multidimensional. And I do this at nights and I do it in the mornings. And why I do this? Because it really gives me really good results in my life. That doesn't mean that I don't have ups and downs, but I think my level of awareness on what's not working is way clearer, and I get ideas of what I have to do to make things happen. That's the power of the symbols. So do any of you have any question so far? Okay. So let's just give you a little background. Let me see what the light being saying. So for instance, I want to generate more energy to be able to help people in a more a powerful way. So that's my intention, right? So I can take only intention. I don't have to take several intentions. And so and then I want the same thing for my ancestors, and I want the same thing for the world. So I just say 50, 25, 25. And then I just think about what's in my mind. And then, I create intention of loving myself. And then I feel I love myself. I choose 20,000 years. I take that energy of the intention into the dim state, go through the 4 symbols, go into that room that I'm choosing 25,000 years, and leave it there. I don't think it's meant for us to do the work by ourselves in these days. I think the work is very essential that we get to do it as a group. And this is the best way to work with the energy or the 5th dimensional energy of anybody who's accessible in that moment too. So there are a lot of people that when I work with them, then I have visions of them, or they come and visit me in their 5th dimensional frequency. How do I know that? Because they can feel. And if there's somebody comes to me and is judgmental and is in this, I don't think I have those here, but in the 3rd dimensional behaviors, they're telling me what to do because whatever it is, whatever is feeling their ego, then that person is not coming from the 5th dimension. That person is not feeling. So you can honor, respect where they're at, but then every time that happens to me, I just acknowledge that and I have gratitude that it is my feelings that I have to honor in the process. And if I know that changes are coming in the future and my life is changing, the way it's changing to be wonderful, then feelings is the way to go. Let's see what else is saying. So when I go for walks, there is this street here. I'm in Burbank, and I walk for a mile. And if you look into the mountains are like desert. There's not much. But somehow in that street, 7 or 8 blocks, maybe a little more than that, they have brought plants from different places, trees, and it's just like going to the zoo, but not going to, it's kind of like going to a botanic park, because there's so much variety of plants and it's so beautiful. So I think that's why he wants us to start thinking. And instead of thinking what's not there, start thinking in what's there and we have not seen it yet. Yeah, that's what they want us. They want us to create from the point of abundance, not from a point of scarcity. So that's what you're doing when you go through this process. You're learning to create from a point of abundance instead of a point of scarcity. And in my experience, when I see the mistakes I had made in the past, when I was creating from scarcity, sometimes it still hit me, because I go like, how did I make that mistake? But then again, the same energy of the 5th dimension comes to me with so much love and shows me the new way. And that's why I'm saying, if you choose to go through this journey, there will be a lot of learning about who you are. These are the energy of the feelings. This is the energy of the feelings will find the solution to what you're looking for. And that's why, like I say, you can do whatever you want to do in your process of healing, in your process of going into ascension, in the process of blessing the world. But make sure to integrate that feeling, because that's going to bring you the solutions to what you're looking for. Okay? It's in that energy, because it's the energy of the 5th dimension. I think this was really beautiful. Today was amazing. Thank you to each one of you for participating in this. So the ancient knowledge is just suddenly going to start coming to you, because the new cells that stay in the 5th dimension, they'll become very knowledgeable and they start giving you ideas. And it's going to take a little time. Cleaning the mess is no easy thing, but the blessings that come, you get to enjoy too. All right? All right.